May 7th, 1945. Germany was defeated, and the end of the war in Europe was here. For the last several months, the Allies had been chasing Germany from France and Poland back to Berlin. 2 months prior, however, in the cold fjords of Norway, a small air battle was fought to free the country from the last remaining influences of Nazi Germany. 8 pilots of the combined US and UK forces died, and the crews of 3 bombers, 2 B-17s and a B-25, were also killed. Joining us today is one of the 3 surviving pilots, and the only one still alive today. Piloting his new Republic P-47M, Lieutenant Randall had just finished his escorting duties for the B-17s.
Now, it was a cold one that day. Cloudy, too. I was tasked with escorting the bombers from Britain to Norway, then to assist the RAF in removing any German fighters that might have been set up to prevent the attack. We didn't expect much. Germany was pushed almost all the way to Essen at this point, and we were expecting a surrender from the Nazis any day now. The bombers needed to be escorted low, below the clouds, so that they could see their targets. Once my escort was finished, I was told to climb to at least 15,000 feet before forming up with the RAF. Something about the engine performing better up there. Once there, we started fanning out so we wouldn't all be swarmed on by the Germans if they showed up. And show up they did.
Looking out his cockpit towards 2 o'clock, Lieutenant Randall saw a dot. It was a BF-109. Checking to make sure he was clear of any surprises, Lieutenant Randall began his engagement.
It took a while to get there with him being about 3 miles out, but I had the support of a Spitfire nearby, so I wasn't worried at all. No other Germans had been reported in the area, so I began to line up my first attack.
Lining up to charge head-on into his target, Lieutenant Randall was able to identify his enemy.
As I pulled the trigger, I got a good look at him. He was a G model. I think it was a G2 at the time. I was just sad. Poor boy was outmatched in skill and in playing. He had no hope.
Falling onto his tail, Lieutenant Randall let loose another round of incendiary rounds into his target, striking the oil before the Messerschmitt evaded. Taking note of his surroundings, Lieutenant Randall realized there were far more Germans than he thought.
There was just chatter of, I got one over here. There's another one. He's on my 6. I didn't know the Germans could afford to fly so many planes. I was about to help a Spitfire out of a jam when I heard a German engine above and in front of my plane. I couldn't see him because of the glare, so I just lobbed some shots in the general area and attempted to evade.
Having avoided danger, Lieutenant Randall began looking for friends. He found few. One that he was able to find was a P-51 from his wing.
He was engaged with a 109 at the time, and I just wanted to make sure he was alright. I saw the German catch fire, and at that time a comm came over the radio. Help! Help! This is Wing Death Star! I got a 410 on my tail! Repeat, 410 on my tail! I radioed in that I was on my way, and I began my dive.
Lieutenant Randall approached the B-25 as fast as he could. But in the end, he was too late.
I didn't make it in time. The rear gunner was dead before the plane fell out of the sky. And the rest of the crew, with the crew of the B-17s, they were captured, interrogated, and gassed. When I saw the plane heading for the ocean, I had but one thing on my mind. That bastard was going to die, even if I had to go with him.
In a blind fit of rage, Lieutenant Randall fired the first burst in a head-on and threw his aircraft into a split S. The 410 ended up behind him. Looping the plane back over it, Randall knew he had one thing he could do to survive: force an overshoot. The way he had decided to do it was dangerous and involved cutting the engine and slowing the plane down while dodging shots to try to get the enemy in front of him. Using a bunch of corkscrews and barrel rolls, as well as a lot of luck, it worked.
After he got in front of me, I loaded everything I could into him, taking fire from his rear gunner. I didn't stop firing until his plane exploded. After that, the mission was complete, and I went back to base.